all of us reading the Bible come across verses that seem to just blatantly contradict one another. How do we handle them? First thing, don't stick your head in the sand as if they don't exist. The second thing, don't pull your hair out as if it's the end of the world, okay? There are good answers, and we have ways to reconcile the great, great majority of these in an honest way. So there are a few things we do. First, we look to see if there are any textual issues. In other words, could this be a manuscript issue? Could it be that the predominant number of manuscripts repeat a wrong number or an error that easily crept in, and other manuscripts indicate that that's not the original text, and perhaps the original text said this or that? Sometimes the contradictions disappear just like that, as we find older manuscripts, something from the Dead Sea Scrolls that predates what we previously had, and some of the apparent contradictions disappear, or they explain why we had these textual divergencies. Here's another way to look at it. Sometimes there is an overall harmony, even if the details we can't quite bring together. You often find this when you have, say, people giving an eyewitness account of what happened at an accident on a street corner. And they were all in different places, and someone was in a car behind, and someone was standing here, and someone was looking up from a restaurant, and someone was in the car in the accident, and they all recount what happened, and it's all accurate, but it's all a little different. So there is an essential overall harmony that we find. And so we may not quite be able to resolve every last tension, but we know the overall picture is the same picture. And then there's another thing that we do. Sometimes it's simply a matter of rounding off numbers. That one account says it was 23,900, another account says it was 24,000. Numbers were rounded off easily enough. Another is, when are you starting your account and stopping your account? For example, there's a New Testament account that one says after 6 days, another says on the 8th day. It's talking about the same thing. So if this is 1 day, now after 6 days, now the next day, that's 8 days. It all depends on how the thing is being told. There's no reason to say, it's a contradiction. And you also have to say, well, why would the editors have put these things side by side if they seem to be blatant contradictions? Then there are some accounts where I can't reconcile it. It's this says this, and this says this, and I can't seem to put the two together. That is a tiny, tiny minority of the overall apparent contradictions. How do I handle those personally? I let them sit with tension. I believe them both. And when we get more information, we'll be able to resolve them the way they resolve the rest. Because I have overwhelming confidence in the authority of Scripture. I have overwhelming confidence in the reliability of Scripture, not just by faith, but by decades of academic study. So the few things, the loose ends that are here and there, they're not going to trouble me. As we have more information, as we have better insight, we'll be able to rectify it. Right now, we can live with that minor tension.